Hello everybody. Today we're doing What If Deku had a poison quirk, part 1. This is a new series because, I don't know, I got bored. Yeah, this will be the only video for today because it's quite late and I'm not even going to talk about why I changed my name. I just, get in the mood to, I guess. So, we will continue this tomorrow if this gets at least 400 views. So yeah, we start this video off right when Izuku is born. So when Izuku comes out of his mother's womb, he has purple hair and snake-like eyes, kind of like Orochimaru or Mitsuki. And Inko's like, oh my gosh. Hisashi, look. As Hisashi's like, he looks so snaky. That's cool. As a couple days later, when Izuku gets sent back home to his family, he meets up with his mother, and as his mother's holding him, she feels a sudden pain in her arm, and Izuku had a very strong poison quirk, so it had already activated. It also had a passive ability called Absolute Defense. If you were to touch Izuku in any way, you would be poisoned. But the more you touch him, the more the poison goes on. But the poison does last forever. If you touched him once, the body will completely deteriorate in 80 years, as a normal human life would. But, you'll feel a little pain, I guess. But if Izuku has the intention to give you the poison, you'll be dead in 3 years. If you only touched him once. As you would assume, it ramps up as you go higher. And if you want to die immediately, Izuku's trying to kill you, and you just touched him like 20 times. Like, say, if he was fighting the Noma. So yeah. So, when Izuku grows up, he is taught to have good manners. And unlike our Izuku, he's a very patient kid. And he doesn't talk a lot to other kids. But he is rather violent compared to everyone else. When Izuku is 4 and unlocks his quirk, he already knew a good amount about it, because when his mom would touch him, she would feel a very large pain. With the hundreds of times she had touched him or poked him, her poison got a little stronger, so she didn't have as long to live. Say she had like 60 years left. Now she's got like 40. Poison will do that to you. Anyway, Izuku, when he did get his quirk, thought that he should test it, as he would throw it at a wall, as the knife he had touched with the intent to poison started a purple fire over the entire wood block, as the block quickly just melted. As Izuku said, "It's acid also? That's cool." As Bakugo comes over to him and says, "Hi, Izuku." As Izuku says, "I got my quirk, Katsuki." As Katsuki says, "Oh, what is it?" As Izuku said, "A poison quirk. I also kind of had acid, I guess." As Katsuki says, "My quirk is still better than yours, nerd. Wanna fight?" As Izuku says, why would I? As Katsuki pushes him onto the ground, like, you scared? As Izuku sends 3 knives at his foot with poison on them and says, don't try that. As he goes to walk away, as Bakugo starts running in. As Izuku says, poison, as he begins a fist fight with Katsuki. As they trade blows, Izuku hits him on the nose with his palm, and Bakugo's nose gets a little green and purple around it. As Bakugo scratches his nose, like, ow, what happened? Ow, what is this pain? As he begins cursing to himself, as Izuku knees him in the stomach and throws him away onto the ground. As Katsuki says, no fair, you have overpowered Quirk. As Izuku said, you did want to see which one was better. I guess mine is. Weirdo. As he walks away. And Izuku, being quite satisfied with that interaction, goes back home as Inko looks over to him and says, Izuku. As Izuku's like, yeah, mother? As Inko says, someone's here to pick you up. As Izuku says, who is it? As Inko says, the Grim Reaper. As she pulls out a gun and says, you have been nothing but annoying this entire 4 years. I wanted a hyperactive kid who was nice. You have been very rude to your other classmates. I saw what happened at the park. You nearly killed your classmate. I won't tolerate that. I'll go to Hizashi, and he'll never figure out, because we'll go to America. It's foolproof, as Izuku says. Really? As Izuku says, you're rude. As he thinks about having the intent to fully poison her, as the poison that had been on her before only had a green layer, which was like a passive poison. But then a purple layer of it layered onto her skin, which was invisible. Think of it as like 2 little strings that were of color, but the human eye can't see it. You'd have to have extremely good eyes. Even then, you'd have to have a microscope to see them. As Izuku says, take this, as he begins hitting her in the chest multiple times with his palms, with the intent to poison fully there. As Inko grabs her chest and says, you brat, as she pulls out her gun and starts shooting, but Izuku ducks behind the couch and begins moving side to side, the bullets going through the couch, as Inko says, you can't run for long, boy, as Izuku comes out and kicks her in the face. As Izuku says, how did I do that? How did I jump that high? As Inko says, you're not going to ruin my plans, as she lines up a very good shot at his face and says, die, as Izuku says, I won't let you, as he throws acid in front of him as the bullet is shot. As Izuku falls out of the air, he sees the bullet flying towards him in slow motion. As Izuku thinks to himself, there's no way that acid should be strong enough. After all, I used all of my poison for today. As he falls to the ground, as the bullet, having its entire front half burned off by the acid, Inko says, no one's going to know about this, Izuku. Just let it happen. What's so wrong about letting destiny happen? As she runs up to him and kicks him in the gut, and fires a shot at his head. But Izuku went under her legs, and kicked her in the bosom. And as she is hit onto the couch, Izuku puts her hands behind her back and says, I don't know how I have these reflexes, but I'm just going to go with it. As he quickly uses all the poison he still had left for that day and puts it onto her hands as he kicks her into a closet, locks the door, and then immediately passes out. As Inko says, no! Why? As she just fell on the ground of the closet, unconscious also. As Izuku, a couple hours later, wakes up and thinks to himself, I can't stay here for long. As he quickly runs to the door and opens it and starts running in the streets. And that, everyone, is where I'll be leaving off for this part 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying the series. And by the way, guys, Izuku has purple hair, obviously. So yeah, this is Kito signing off. Goodbye.